Hey guys, it's EDDBUD here, and it's time for another episode of the Running News. Today on the Running News, got some information about a cancelled race, also an intriguing new scheme where they're going to build a running track in the centre of London. Some info about the Impossible Games from last week in Norway, and also some shoe release dates, because those are the dates we should all be thinking about. They should be etched into our minds. Okay, let's get to it. So first story up this week is the sad cancellation of the Great North Run here in the UK. That race was set to take place in September. It's a pretty legendary race actually, but sadly it has been cancelled. It was due to take place on the 12th of September, and those, I believe, with ballot entries are able to switch those across to next year's race. This is going to be a real blow to some of the charities that do benefit from this race. It does create a huge amount of cash. I always remember the 2013 Great North Run when Bekele won, but only after a crazy finish, one of the greatest finishes of a race I've ever seen, with Mo Farah catching him up from miles back. Well, he wasn't actually miles back, but he was quite a distance behind Bekele, and he got within touching distance of him right at the end. Only a second between them in the end. A crazy finish with Mo catching him up meters and meters back at one point. I think that type of race really does make us remember why we love running so much. Even if you're not participating, if you're watching when something like that happens, it's just absolutely amazing. Let's hope that we can see this type of excitement again very, very soon. The second story today involves the possible planned building of a 4.2 kilometre rubberised running track around parts of South London. I haven't lost my mind, it is true. So London runners could be in for a real treat as these plans were unveiled this week. That rubber surface would be 4.2 kilometres long and actually snake through part of the Barbican. I'm entirely sure how this is all going to work, or where it's come from. A footway for pedestrians will still exist in that area. I think you'll all agree though that a rubberised surface is quite nice to run on sometimes. Makes a bit of a change from that concrete or the road. Apparently though, there is some resistance from local residents. Some of those voicing complaints have suggested that it could be sort of intrusive for those residents if there's loads more runners around, and also whether it was appropriate for a grade 2 listed building such as the Barbican to have people sort of running near or through it. I'm not entirely sure how it's going to work. They're kind of worried that the area will be overwhelmed by runners. Not really sure that's going to happen. I think it's a little sad that there isn't a track of that type closer for people in London to use. Let's hope the residents' fears can be reduced and this can go ahead. I think it will give people a superb new running opportunity. Story 3 on the Running News today is around the superb Impossible Games from last week. You may have been aware of a superb event which occurred over in Norway on the 11th of June. I think it was in Oslo at the Bislett Stadium. I think I've said that correctly. If not, please let me know in the comments. Those speedy Ingebrigtsen fellows were at it again. There were some stupendous performances. It was just so good to see some athletics going on. Discus, pole vault, hurdles. It was just superb. I really, really enjoyed it. The 27-year-old Philip Ingebrigtsen set a new 1,000 metre national record, 2 minutes 16:46. He then also later took part in a team event, only 45 minutes later. I would have been in need of some serious relaxation after that, I think. Not that I can run anywhere near that quick. So serious endurance from that man. So those hyperspeed brothers took on a team from Kenya later in the event over the 2,000 metre distance. I think they put everybody's times together, or at least the top 3 finishes. Each team had 5 members, but some of those dropped out. They were kind of like pacemakers. The Kenyans had a really tough time of it though. It was really dreadful conditions over there. Very windy, very wet. Yeovil on a November night. They still had some crazy times though. Those guys are very quick. Actually showing some real steel there to produce some superb times, even though the weather was really against them. Jakob Ingebrigtsen actually beat Steve Cram's European record. He clocked in at 4 minutes 50:01. His older brother Henrik was only just behind him with 4 minutes 53:72. And as I said, only 45 minutes after he completed that 1,000 metre race, Philip finished in 4:56:91. Incredible dudes. Those men can really run. So exciting watching that. Just feels like we've not had anything like that for a long time, so it was a welcome distraction. As I say, lots of other great events on within that 1 hour show. There was discus, hurdles, some sprints as well, and the pole vault. The pole vault was really good. They had a chap, I believe he was the gold medalist back in the Olympics in 2012. He had some attempts at the pole vault, but he'd set it up in his back garden. There was a tree as well as he was going up over. It was really close. Oh, absolutely superb. To even get that pace over just a shorter distance as well was amazing. Do catch up with it on your local online streaming services. Last story today surrounds some shoe release dates. So that Asics Metaracer is finally set to launch over in the US on the 26th of June. I finally got it in hand. Well, it's not, it's downstairs. Beast is protecting it for me until I can get out in it tomorrow morning. I think a 10-mile effort should do it. Another shoe you might be interested in is the Hoka Only Clifton Edge. I did cover that one in the latest running shoe yay or nay video. I'm not sure it's a shoe for me, but that doesn't mean to say it's not a shoe for you. It's currently available for pre-order in the UK. It says they're actually going to dispatch them on the 22nd of June, which is only a few days away. There are 2 different colourways of the Clifton Edge, the Nimbus Cloud and Lunar Rock, as well as the Anthracite and Evening Primrose. Evening Primrose? What? £140. I'm not sure it's what I'm going to go for immediately. I think I'll check out a few reviews first from some of my colleagues. Bit of a news update for you on the Beacon 3. You know, I picked that one up the other week and there was some indecision about whether it was Fresh Foam or Fresh Foam X. It says Fresh Foam X on the tongue, even on the insole it has it printed. Well, it does turn out it is Fresh Foam. I wanted to believe. At least that's the info I've received. I know other reviewers have received further information from New Balance suggesting it is in fact Fresh Foam X. So who knows, I'm pretty sure it's Fresh Foam. It feels like Fresh Foam, it tastes like Fresh Foam. Just remember viewers, the truth is out there. Quick musical interlude. It's kind of weird sometimes with an album you remember the exact day you bought it, like the first few times you listen to it. And that's pretty much the case with One for the Modern by Ocean Colour Scene. Back in 1999 when I had more hair, I used to wander around Bournemouth listening to my Sony Discman, listening to this album. There's great tunes on here, some really good songwriting and some interesting production. Prophet in Peace and So Low are 2 of my favourite tracks from this one. Really great band. Steve Craddock's a fantastic guitar player. Do check it out, Ocean Colour Scene, One for the Modern. Okay, it's time for me to mosey off into the sunset and rest up so that I can use up all my energy testing out the Asics Metaracer tomorrow for you. If you haven't done so already, I'd really appreciate it if you'd hit that subscribe button and click the bell for notifications of when new videos are launched. And if you particularly like this episode of the Running News, give it a thumbs up like. Share it with your running buddies. My name's EDDBUD and I'll be seeing you